Welcome to Prof. Neel, and it's a nice topic we're going to discuss today, as always. How to be inspired after being humiliated and insulted. Two beautiful stories, real life stories involving Indians who rose above themselves after being insulted and humiliated to bring the world to their knees. So we start again, and now the first story is 7th June 1893, and this is in South Africa. An Indian lawyer who had failed in India, named Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, was traveling in a train and had booked a ticket in a first class coach. He was thrown off at the Pietermaritzburg station because a white traveler objected that coach was in the first class coach, only whites could travel. As he sat there, this young man, this young Indian, alone, shivering in that cold, freezing winters at the Pietermaritzburg station, something in him sparked. And within a few months, he was leading the colored and the Indian people of South Africa for their due rights and to end discrimination, which he did successfully. So we owe thanks, and then after that he was invited to India, and the rest is history. We know how he led the country to independence, and how many leaders followed in his path. Nelson Mandela Jr. And when Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King Jr. to name two. So that's one case. So we have to thank that white traveler, the European traveler in that coach who took objection to Gandhi, Mr. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, traveling with him, and the European traveling ticket examiner. They dumped Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi on the station of Pietermaritzburg station in South Africa that night, and they threw out Mohanchand Karamdas Gandhi, but from there was born Mahatma Gandhi, as the world knows. The second story is again involves Indians, again the Brits. The second story, we have to go ahead in time, almost a century, 100 years almost. That was 1893 was South Africa, an Indian. 1983 was India at the Lords, the World Cup, Prudential World Cup, everybody knows that. But there's a little known side story of that, which I want to share with you. India had literally gate crashed into the party, as they say, the finals, after convincingly beating the hosts England in the semi-finals, and the Brits were not amused at all. Following the win in the semi-finals, the trio of the BCCI officials, Mr. NKP Salve, Mr. Dalmia, and Mr. Bindra, the president, the secretary, and the vice president, they flew to London to see the final, witness the finals from the Lords of the box. They were denied the passes meant for that stature, the board chiefs. Somehow the players managed to rally around to get some passes for them, and they managed to see the final from the pavilion, but not as per the status they deserved. Mr. NKP Salve was the Minister for Coal in Mrs. Indira Gandhi's cabinet at that time, and also the President of the Board of Control for India. On landing in Delhi, he went straight to meet Mrs. Gandhi, the Prime Minister, and apprised her of the insult and the humiliation that he had to suffer, being an Indian. She took insult to it. She was furious and promised wholehearted support to BCCI to do whatever to avenge the insult. The trio met Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani, the founder of the Reliance industry, and he promised them his help, his full-fledged support. Enthused by this, they got in the chiefs of the Pakistan Cricket Board, and thus was born the 1987 Reliance World Cup. Reliance sponsored it, Pakistan and India jointly hosted it. The first time ever the World Cup travelled out of England. What a humongous cost they paid for just 3 passes in comparison. For the insult that they did for the 3 BCC officials. And from then, England has never been a permanent fixture as a host. It's traveled again to India in 1996, with Sri Lanka joining the bandwagon along with Pakistan, Australia, and likewise. And finally, it went back to England again in 1999 or somewhere. But remember, this teaches us, if we insult or humiliate others, in the future we may have to pay a very humongous cost. And the next time you're insulted or humiliated, don't react. Respond with a plan to not only inspire others around you, but to inspire yourself. You owe that to yourself. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Bye-bye. Good day.